And that's another thing I like to bring up about the God of the Bible. Um, Apparently, or supposedly, or obviously, if you will, in this Bible, God is a God who can tell people, he can predict the future, he can tell people what's going to happen, and he can make things happen. So, with that being said, then why can't he prevent things from happening? Well, I guess he can. If he can make things happen and he can tell what's going to happen, I'm pretty sure that he can stop them from happening. And just to reference the Bible, where it displays that God has the power to make things happen and to see the future. I'm not gonna go find them. I was going to, but if you really care and you want to dispute it and prove me wrong or prove it to yourself, then you can go and look this up for yourself. But Exodus, I believe it's chapter 9 and verse 14, is when God said that he was going to send a plague on Egypt. I believe that's what he's talking about. So if he has the power to send a plague, he has the power to take the plague away, for sure. Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 23. I don't remember. I don't have the actual verse in front of me. I just have the verse, chapter, and number. But if you go there, I'm pretty sure the reason why I wrote it down is there's something in there where God said that he was going to do something. Deuteronomy 28, which is the chapter of the curses, as I like to call it. This is where he told the children of Israel, if you listen to me, this is what I will do for you. But if you don't listen, this is what will happen. Once again, it's a display of God saying that he can make things happen and he knows what's going to happen. Okay. Also, Genesis 18 and 14. Chapter 18, verse 14. I believe that's where God told Sarah that she was going to have a baby in a year. Once again, God professing that he can tell the future. So you can tell what's going to happen in the future. And you can make things happen because they asked him for a baby. They asked the Most High for a baby. And he said, all right, in a year. So you can make things happen and you can tell what's going to happen, but you didn't know that if these people were going to be good people and listen to you or not. And you can't stop bad things from happening. And I keep going back to that because I'm talking about modern times. I'm talking about recent, current times. You mean to tell me, all this stuff that's going on, God not showing us no love, and people say, well, that's because, our people ain't right and we not listening. And how are we supposed to get right if we don't know? If the Bible is the truth about black people being Hebrew Israelites and we're supposed to serve this God and do certain things and follow laws, how are we supposed to do that when the truth has been kept from us for so long? Christianity doesn't teach that, and that's the religion that we were given in slavery. We wasn't given Hebrewism or Tanakh knowledge. We were given Christianity. And black people are so thrown off and lost and doing the wrong things as a direct result of oppression, racism, slavery, a lack of knowledge of self, and just white supremacy. I'm going to just say it. Sometimes it sounds like those two things don't go together, religion and the Bible, racism, white supremacy in America. But you have to understand that the Bible and religion is a direct result, is a conception from white supremacy and racism. The Bible was put in place to control people. Is it's just as simple as that. So, you say, well, black people ain't got their mind right and they're not doing right. That's why the Most High not helping us. But why are black people the way that they are? Why are they the way they are? Are we just stupid, evil people? If that's the case, then why did God create us in the first place if we were going to be stupid, evil people? It's because what has been done to us. We've been given this book and we've been given scraps and we've been told to fight over them. We've been pinned against each other. The Willie Lynching, whether that's a true letter or not, is going on every day. My point is, he's the God of the Bible. He can tell the future, and he can make things happen, and he can stop things from happening. But still in all, he allows terrible things to go on. And sometimes he'll even tell you in the Bible. I can't think of the exact verse right now, but he'll tell you something's bad is going to happen. You need to get your family out of the city, or I'm going to do this to you. Like, so you're going to do it. Why would you do it? Why would you do it? Just keep me close to you and protect me and love me, and let's walk together. Help me walk in righteousness. Why you gotta, burn the city down? I don't understand that. So it's just the Bible's just really it doesn't make sense at all. So why does he let, Christians say, people say, why does God let bad things happen? And people say, oh, it's all in God's plan. Well, what plan is that? If you a good person and, people say you got to go through trials and tribulations to learn stuff, which I guess that's true. But if you think about it, if you're trying to learn something, then it's something that you don't know. And how can I say this? I'm gonna just come out and say it how I feel. Back before we became slaves, we knew a lot of stuff. In slavery, our knowledge was stripped from us and we became stupid because we were dumbed down, and now we don't know nothing. All this stuff about life lessons, about trust, honesty, betrayal, money, all this stuff, we didn't deal in that kind of stuff. It was Europeans. That's European stuff. We didn't have to, we just didn't deal in that kind of stuff. That's just not our spirit. So all this stuff talking about, God put you through things to teach you stuff. What was he putting us through? I mean, first of all, that's the Christian version of it. Before slavery and all that, back in the Hebrew Israelite days, they didn't say he put you through stuff to teach you things. They say he put you through stuff to test you and to prove your love so you can get rewarded for it. Which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'll take you to the story of Job. First of all, shout out to Sarnetta TV and Brother Polite. Much love, much respect. Brother Polite did a debate recently at the beginning of this month, and he was debating a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not going to even go into it, Yeah, you can find it on YouTube and judge for yourself. But I just want to bring out a key point, something that he said. I want to give him credit because it came out of his mouth first. And I didn't even think about it this way. I don't believe prior to that. But in the book of Job, Job is a servant of the Most High God. And Satan, wants to test Job. He goes to God, and people see this aspect of it because it seems like a strong aspect of the story where they say, see that? Even Satan got to ask God for permission to do something. Nothing happens without God, wanting it to happen. Even Satan got to ask permission. They hang on to that part. But what about this part? Are you ready? Here it goes. And Brother Polite said, and the Bible says that the Most High, said, well, yeah, Satan, you think you all that, this, that, and the other, but, you did this, but why don't you try my man Job? I bet you Job will stay faithful to me, So you God, and you talking to Satan, whether it's a bad angel or the devil or a good angel doing bad stuff because that's his job, whichever one, whatever. You talking to this person, and this person who wreaks havoc in the world, who made a third of the angels disobey the Most High and follow him to hell, I guess. So you're God, and you talking to this person, Satan, and you trying to prove to Satan that this person, Job, will not follow him, but continue to follow you. And as Brother Polite say, you God, what you trying to prove something to Satan for? Why are you trying to prove something to Satan for? This had nothing to do with Job. Because back to what I said in the beginning, why does God have to constantly test you? He should know what type of heart you have. You know what I'm saying? And that just kind of steps out within itself when he said, I know Job. You can test him, and I bet you he won't break. That lets you know that God can know. So why does he have to test you? With that being said, if he knew, then what was the point of doing this? He wanted to prove to Satan, like, I'm going to show you that my followers are down with me for life, forever. Go test him. All right, dog, go test him. Put $5 on it. Why are you making $5 bets with Satan? You God, you own Job, and you own Satan. Why are you trying to prove something to the devil? Why are you trying to prove something to the devil? And something else Brother Polite said that just popped in my mind that I totally agree with, that I just gotta say, which is, he in the Bible it says that God is a jealous God. And someone else was also saying, Brother Polite said this too, but someone else was also saying, well, if he's a jealous God, then that must mean that there are other guys out there for him to be jealous of. So there's not just one God. And that's, disputable. Some people say, no, he's jealous of other things. And they got some Hebrews that would agree that, of course, there's other guys, but this is our God. I'm not getting all into that. But the thing that Brother Polite pointed out is whether there are other gods or not, you're supposed to be the most powerful one. You're supposed to be almighty. What you getting jealous for? If you the type of guy that get jealous, I don't want you as my guy. That's like a female emotion. What you getting jealous for? You know who you are. You all powerful, almighty. What you gonna get jealous for? That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So I just had to throw that out there. And something else I'm gonna bring up real fast. Now this is about my husband. I'm gonna use my husband's mother as an example. I mean, she's a nice person. She's a sweet lady. I mean, my husband has told me wonderful, beautiful things about her, and I've spoken to her, and she does seem like a good person. She's a Christian. Been a Christian all her life, just like most of our mothers and grandmothers and whatever. But recently, I want to say probably not even a week ago, my husband had a phone conversation with his mother. And they were on the phone for about 2 hours. She had called just to see how he was doing. But then the conversation turned into religion. And, his mother knows his standpoint. I mean, my husband is not that far behind from being a Christian himself. And when, he told his mother of his decision, she wasn't, precisely thrilled about it. So anyway, during this phone conversation recently, they got into religion somehow, and they were pretty much debating the Bible, kind of. And I must say, I love my husband, and his mother is a beautiful spirit, but I just want to tell you some of the things that she said that I'm going to refute right here in this video. And the one thing that comes to mind immediately is she was saying how Jesus Christ, the Messiah, whatever you want to call him, Yeshua, she was saying how he is mentioned in the Old Testament. She said that he's mentioned all throughout the Old Testament. And my husband was saying, well, Mom, show me a verse where they talk about a Messiah or Jesus or something, And of course, she couldn't go to a direct verse. She did pull Genesis, which one was it? I forgot it. It's the verse in Genesis where they talking about Eve ate the fruit and, God punished and cursed them for that. She said that the verse where it says that the serpent seed will hate her seed and vice versa, and the serpent seed will bruise your children's heel, and your children's heel will bruise his head. She said they talking about Jesus right there. I don't know if a lot of Hebrews or Christians believe that, but the point is, how do you know that that's Jesus if it doesn't say? There's also a Bible verse, and I don't feel like pulling it right now. Maybe I'll put it in an annotation. But there's also Bible verses and people who say verbally that you shouldn't, leave the Bible up to your own interpretation. They say that your mind is not God's mind, and you shouldn't interpret the word. You should take it for what it is. So if you just feel or believe that they're talking about Jesus, that's not good enough. If you just feel or believe or you think that it makes sense and all the evidence points to that talking about Yeshua, that's not good enough. So dismissed. Also, speaking about, leaning on your own interpretation or opinion, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 21 through 23, and I'm actually going to pull this and read it because I know exactly what that is. Genesis chapter 2, verse 21 through 23. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman because she was taken out of man. That was verses 21 through 23 in Genesis chapter 2. And Brother Polite made this distinction as well. So you mean to tell me that this is the God that created the heavens, the earth, the animals, people, and all this, and he did this, just snap of his fingers, and all of a sudden he has to become he has to make a surgical incision to create a woman. Doesn't make sense. and the Hebrew brother was he was debating Hebrew brother, and the Hebrew was like, it's figurative. Some things in the Bible are figurative and some things are literal. Well, if it's figurative, then why did Adam have to go into a literal sleep? Well, the brother said, well, it wasn't a literal sleep. It was figurative, like some people are walking around here now asleep. Some black people are asleep. They're unconscious. They're not aware. My point, my question is this. Prove to me that that's what that means. Prove to me that that's figurative and not literal. And the second thing, also, I want you to prove to me that it's not literal, it's figurative, is the Hebrew brother was saying that God did not make a literal incision into the man's side. And, Brother Polite was saying, well, he said he closed up the flesh thereof. He stilled it back up. And the Hebrew brother said, no, but the Most High is saying right there, when the Most High said that he closed up the flesh, the Most High was saying that we should only date our own people. That's why Adam said, this is bones of my bones and flesh of my flesh, meaning this is my people. Okay, but the Bible doesn't exactly directly say that. So that's an interpretation of those words. So I need proof that those words really mean that. And, usually when you have questions like that, Hebrew Israelites hit you with another verse that try to, tie that in, as I said, and say, here's proof that that's what that means, I don't want that. I need, a Bible dictionary, or call up God himself and let him tell me, yes, that's what I meant when I said that. So, yeah. So that's what I need that answer. I really do. That's very confusing to me. How Hebrew Israelites and even the Bible itself is going to say that the book and the words and scripture should not be left up to interpretation, and that man shouldn't lean on his own understanding. That's exactly what it says. Man should not lean on his own understanding. Yet you're going to speak for the Most High God and take something that he said, and you're going to say what he meant was when he said that was this. How do you know?